In our last video, we got this 31-year-old OBS paint looking like absolute glass, and we did it mostly by hand. Go check out the last video if you want to see how we did that. But now that the outside of our truck looks so dang good, we got to make sure under the hood looks great. Because while our 350 TBI runs like a dream, it looks a little bit more like a nightmare. By the end of this video, we're going to have our motor looking like this. My name's Hovey, this is Slow Car HQ, let's get to it. Okay guys, our engine bay needs a ton of work, but by the end of this video, we're gonna have it looking sick. Since I did just have to pull it in here, it is just a little bit hot, so we're gonna first turn our attention to the bow tie. Bow tie. Alright, so all we're going to do to clean this thing off is use some glass cleaner, maybe adhesive remover if we need it, then we're just going to scuff it with some 400, use some adhesion promoter, and then lay some paint. Let's do it. Didn't need to do a lot of prep on this thing. We could go overboard if we wanted to and fill in some of the pit holes, but I'm not really that concerned with it. But we do want to lay a good paint job. So now we did some scuff sanding with 400 grit. We're first going to use this plastic adhesion promoter, which is going to give our paint a really good surface to stick to. We're using this red caliper paint because that's what I have and it'll work out fine. And then we're going to clear over it. This thing's going to be looking really good. Let's do it. I chose not to prime this piece, and there's really two reasons that you need to prime something. For starters, you want to give your paint something good to stick to. We use adhesion promoters, so we have that base covered. The other reason that you prime is to have a nice gray part to paint over. We're painting over a yellow surface, so we're going to have to use just a little bit more red to give it that shine that we want to. If we started out with a gray prime surface, it'd be a little bit easier to get the coverage that we're looking for. Nice cars here. Not mine, but what a cute little guy. Bow tie. All right guys, so while we're waiting for the bow tie to dry, we are going to go ahead and get started on the rest of the truck. Once it's dry, we are going to put this back together so it's kind of out of the way and we can have that project finished up. But there are some things that we can do while we're waiting. The first thing that we're going to do in here is clean up our intake. It is an aluminum intake, so we don't need to paint it. It should clean up pretty nicely. But we're just going to take this breather off and see what kind of access we have. And we're just going to be using engine degreaser and a rag, and we're just going to get as intricate as we can behind all of this mess. Let's do it. My cars are easy to steal, desirable, and they don't run. Alright guys, I'll be totally honest. As I was doing this, I learned a couple of things. A, it was a lot harder to get to than I thought it would be. B, that means that most of it's covered. So we got kind of some of the visible areas, but I'm probably going to call it as far as the intake is concerned. Let's move on. Another thing that we need to address under the hood is the tops of these fender arches. We don't really need to make them look great, but there's all kinds of pitting and rust. So we're basically just going to scuff sand the top and cover it in black. Call it a day. Let's do it. Alright guys, so I think we're good from a sanding perspective. It is pretty smooth and that's really all we need to do. We're not professional painters. This isn't a show truck, regardless of the title of my last video. We just want to make this look a little bit better than when we started today. So we got it smooth, we got it clean, we're going to lay some black on it. I'd say that's pretty good. I think we just gained like 15 horsepower. I definitely didn't spend a lot of time struggling to get this back together off camera, but nonetheless, we did get it back on, and the front end looks so much more aggressive. That looks sick. Let's take a look at the rest of the work that we did. We painted the interior of our fender arches just to make them look a little bit better. I mean, nothing crazy on these guys. We just wanted them to look flat black in the areas that we could. Now, we're ready to move on to the valve covers. Alright, we got the valve cover off. It definitely smells like Valvoline Restore and Protect. Can remove up to 100% of deposits from your valve train. Valvoline, please sponsor me. Anyway, the rockers, they look old. Lifters look fine. Push rods look fine. Nothing's bent. I'm not concerned with this. Let's go get some paint on it. Alright, we got the valve cover off. It is in pretty good condition. I mean, no kind of marring or scratching or anything like that, which is good. Pretty simple here. We're just going to clean it off with glass cleaner, then degreaser, scuff sand it, and then paint it. Let's do it. We got the rest of that scuff down off camera. It was a lot of work because there's a lot of grooves in the top of the valve cover, but just have some perseverance, get it done. Now we're ready to paint. We got our high heat paint. If you use regular paint on this, it is just gonna flake off. But now that we've got this thing cleaned, we're ready to go. We're probably just gonna do 2 mild coats on here. The second will be more of a coverage coat. Then we'll do 2 coats of clear and call it good. Let's do it. Guys, I don't know what happened here. This is the gasket that came off of this valve cover, and for whatever reason, we're like a quarter of an inch off here. And this doesn't make sense. If you guys know something that I don't, let me know. But we have new gaskets anyway. I didn't think we were gonna need to use them, but it looks like we are. Alright guys, well the new valve cover gasket does fit as it should. Maybe the old one had just been heat cycled so many times that it had warped. But here's our valve cover, we're ready to put it back on the truck. Let's do it. Alright guys, we got the valve cover on the driver's side. On the passenger side, it's a little bit of a different story. I didn't realize I was going to have to take off the AC compressor. It's going to be a little bit more work than I anticipated. On top of that, my phone's giving me a ton of issues on storage, so I think I'm just going to tackle that stuff by myself. I'll see you guys back at the reveal, but we'll check it out. Alright guys, it is the next day, and the lesson that I have learned time and time again is that when you buy a car off Facebook, you're going to spend most of your time cleaning up the last owner's mistakes. And you can combine that with the, how do we call it, creative GM engineers from 1995 that decided you have to take off your AC compressor to get to a valve cover. I did a lot of this off camera because it wasn't super exciting, but the last guy that painted the valve covers used some kind of acrylic enamel. And I was using paint stripper and sandpaper and adhesive remover and sandpaper and paint stripper again, and it was just a mess. These are cheap valve covers, and realistically, the right thing to do would probably be to replace them. But this is a budget build. This is a daily. It doesn't have to look perfect, so we worked with what we had. And on the bright side, one cool thing that I did find, if we ever wanted to upgrade this to the elusive 9-cylinder option, we already had a loose spark plug in the bay. Look guys, this was a great project. It was a little bit more challenging than expected. We ran into some other things, but that's just how a lot of this car work goes. If you've ever worked on anything before, you know that just as well as I do. That said, let's quit talking and check out the work we did. All in guys, super happy with how this turned out. The front end looks so much more aggressive, and under the hood looks a lot cleaner and more aggressive. We've done a lot to this truck, but we still have a long ways to go. So if you want to see the rest of this build and the build on our other cars, hit that subscribe and join the next big car channel on YouTube. That's it.